This is a Harper Guys production.
The Harper contains foul language and adult material. If you are easily offended and thin-skinned, you should hit the stop button now. And if you are not a complete idiot, let's get this party started.
Let's get down to brass tacks, gentlemen. If I was informed correctly, the clock is ticking. Is that right, Jimmy?
But good luck arguing that in court. Let me get down to brass tacks.
Listen, let's get down to brass tacks here. How much for the 8?
Jack, let's just cut the crap and get down to brass tacks here.
Are you hating on Neil Diamond?
Holy fuck! Fuck Neil Diamond!
Our dream of deathmatch is going to come to fruition, and my golden ticket is going to pay off. Hoo-ah! Don't you fucking hoo-ah me, motherfucker!
I want the ability to time travel.
Dumb. This is stupid.
Almost lost my hat there. Welcome to the Harper, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jake. With me, as always, my co-host Adam.
That's right!
Coming at you with episode 56 this evening. So we're going to get started.
56?
56.
We think about that.
Over a year in the books, man. We are cruising on down through. Picking up a little bit of steam as we go. We're loving it.
That's right. Welcome, everybody.
Yes, so we're going to let Adam go ahead and start with our public service announcement.
That's right. So, when you're out and about looking for things to listen to, go to or visit us at theharperguys.com. It is a one-stop shop. I've been saying it for a year now. Mm-hmm. It's a one-stop shop for everything the Harper Guys you want. Things you want to do there. There's an iTunes link. There's a Spotify link. There's a YouTube link. There's more than that, but those are the three big ones. Go visit them. Lastly, we've been trying to give a mug away. No one wants the mug.
Right.
So we're just going to have to make it super easy to give away.
Okay.
So what I've thought in my mind
All right.
to do is, about the easiest thing I can think of is we somehow we get a pot of names, whether it's people that are following us on Facebook.
Okay.
Or people that are following us on Twitter, whatever.
Let's go with subscribers.
Or subscribers, however you want to do it.
Be a smaller pool, you know.
But I guess what I'm getting at is, it'd be kind of fun to say, hey, the next 5 followers on Twitter or the next 5 Facebook friends will be thrown into the pot.
Okay.
I think that's, for some reason, going on and giving us a review, people just don't want to do it.
Right.
It's like pulling teeth.
30 seconds that they're not getting back.
This is my first harp about our Hateful Eight. They don't want to do it.
Right. Well, they've probably given us 8 of the ones that we have so far, so the Hateful Eight should still be in there someplace.
Yeah. So we're going to do something simple like that. That's coming soon. And the giveaway is this fabulous black and white mug here with the with our logo.
Absolutely. If you're like us, you'll love it, and other people hate it, which is part of the fun.
I love it. Matter of fact, I had coffee in mine this morning. Took a picture, sent it to Jake to prove it.
That's right. Knew we were getting warmed up for the show. So we're just going to go ahead and jump on in to our first topic here, I think. Something else that we hate, at least something that I hate, are face tattoos. What do you think of this? Because they're becoming more and more prevalent, I feel.
Well, I mean, on a personal level, do you know anybody with now we're not just talking like maybe a tear, but I guess it could be anything. Do you know anybody with any facial tats?
I don't know them in particular. I mean, there are people that I see on a regular basis, whether it's at work or there's a couple people in the town that I live in, that I will see out and about periodically, and you can't miss them because they're carrying markage on their face.
Now, I did see a guy in some, I don't know, it was like on the front page of a Yahoo or an MSNBC, whatever, the web pages, and it was about him and his fiance, and he was tatted all over the face.
Yeah.
But it was like, if you can do it respectfully and as gracefully, it was about as good as you could do. But
I would have to see this to believe it, because I've never seen one that I was like,
words.
Oh,
it was
perfect.
like words. And it was.
But that's worse.
I think in the end, it's still just as bad. I don't know what drives people to get face tattoos. I know I've seen some strange ones where like the lizard guy did it on purpose. Like he did his whole body in like lizard scales.
Didn't he like split his tongue and all kinds of weird stuff to be more lizard-like?
That's different. He's going as like a commodity.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm gonna go to kids parties and freak shows and I'm gonna be
right.
This is who I get that. It's like your occupation.
Sure.
But to be an everyday Joe and be like, one day I'm gonna wake up and be like, today's the day.
Yeah.
Full face tattoo. I think I don't know if our society's ever been ready for that.
I don't think it's ever going to be ready for that. To me, it's one of the few things that you can do. I don't believe that you should ever judge a book by its cover.
Amen.
But if I sit down with somebody with a face tattoo, I'm instantly taking you like 50% less serious in that moment.
Not only...
And I'm going to question your judgment on everything.
Now, this is probably just how I was raised, and just maybe we all stereotype at some point.
Yeah.
But the things that I've always heard is, it's like do you have a self-esteem issue? Because it's not going to get any better as soon as you cover your face with tattoos.
Right. I mean, you definitely can't hide in the shadows when you have them. Like, you get known as the person that has it.
Most people think, oh, well, he did some time.
Well, when you think of like the first big face tattoo you remember, who do you think of?
I don't even know.
Mike Tyson.
Oh, God.
You remember when Mike Tyson got the big tribal
What did
thing?
everybody say?
And everybody was like...
He went crazy.
People were like, so this guy's completely done now and he's off his rocker. What the hell happened?
But even then, yes, it's a horribly large face tattoo, but it's around the outside.
Right.
I mean, we know somebody, we don't even know him. I don't even know his first name, but...
No.
But he is somebody that we see on occasion, and it is, all blue, the just that blue ink.
Everything. The first time I saw him, I thought he had a do-rag on. Then now the closer I got, he didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's your whole head.
And I like Jake says, don't want to judge this person. It could be a great guy.
Right.
But it's just like looks can be deceiving, and you don't want to judge a book by its cover, but it's just like, wow.
Right. But I will say, too, that particular person, I don't know if it's stereotypical of people that are like this, but he was also one of those guys that walked around with his chest puffed out a little bit and his arms like kind of like cocked. It was like, dude, you're not jacked. Like, you shouldn't be walking around like that. And like, that's his demeanor. Like, walks around like he's Johnny hard ass. And it's
so that's one of the things I have wrote down here. Obviously it's a self-image thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a person that maybe he really truly doesn't feel that confident and thinks that this is going to make him a hard ass.
Yeah.
Which it definitely kind of works.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a hard ass, but when you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm going to mess with that guy.
Well, it makes you think about their stability. You know, is this something that's the person's mentally stable if they're getting weird tribal tattoos on their face?
Well, the other thing is, we all know tattoos aren't like 5 minutes and they're done.
No.
A good sized tattoo could take, if you're filling it in and you're doing it right, could take a week or two.
It takes hours. If
there's people that have gone back in sessions, though.
Oh, yeah. 6-8 hour sessions at a time to get massive pieces done.
And this fella that we're talking about, he's got it around the whole dome.
Right.
This wasn't like a maybe type thing. This was all in.
Yeah, I can't get past it. I feel like I have some ink, and I love my tattoos. I wouldn't trade them for anything else. Like, they all mean something, the ones that I have. And I think that there's nothing wrong with having tattoos. I think that you are just choosing a particular lane in life that you are now going to be stuck in for forever if you go that route.
We're talking about employment.
Right.
I'm sure it has to halt a few opportunities.
Right. Maybe if you're like a laborer, you can get away with it a little bit more. You know what I mean? But if you were trying to get any kind of like a corporate America job, I got to believe that that's like instant no. Like, somebody looks at your resume and you could have a spotless resume, great work experience, a great work history that goes along with the experience that you've had, a good education, and then you come in and sit down for your interview and your suit and tie and you're tatted from the neck up.
So some of you might be like, well, where is the harp in this? The harp is, from me, is why would you do that to yourself?
Right.
Not the tattoos. Why would you want to hinder yourself from future endeavors?
Right. And or be labeled, or like you're getting yourself labeled ahead of time. Which
Because I firmly believe you do whatever the fuck you want.
yeah.
But there's some things you do that are going to change the outcome of some other things.
Right. And to me, if you go that route in life, like you said, that's your choice. But you also have to take what comes along with it. People are going to judge you the minute they see you.
It just seems like a quick attitude in life that this is what I want.
Yeah.
That's just gonna go with you for the rest of your life. It's to me, it's almost as silly. And I think they're silly. I'm sure a lot of people out there, millennials, probably more than but those spacers they put in their ears.
Oh, like gauging?
Yeah. Now, the little ones, whatever. But when the dudes get up to the I mean, at some point you will take those out. At some point you will be 60.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be this droopy loopy.
Yeah.
I guess there's nothing wrong with it, but
Well, that was one of the other things I was going to ask is, do you think that piercings fall along the same line?
I don't, because piercings, you can take them out.
Okay. So are there certain facial piercings that are acceptable and other ones would be unacceptable?
I'm just thinking about along the lines of, hey, this is how I felt when I was 23.
Yeah.
Now I'm 35 and I really want to advance my career.
Yeah.
I'm going to take these piercings out of my face.
Yeah.
Just so I can move.
Something that can be undone.
Right. And yeah, there might be a couple little scars, but people have scars. It's not a big deal.
No.
But the face tattoo, you can't get away from it.
No.
It's there.
It's there pretty much for good.
Yeah. So the piercings don't bother me. I mean, if you want to, what do they say from Pulp Fiction? Who's the gal with the shit all over her face? I mean, you can get rid of it. I don't personally find it attractive.
Right. I mean, but like a little bit goes a long way.
I would say the same thing.
Like a well done nose ring. Like I don't think that makes anybody stand out huge anymore. I feel like that's one of them that's become widely acceptable. Like especially if you have like a little stud in your nose, it's not that big of a deal. The lip one gets a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It just to me that one doesn't have a great look to it to where like you have on like in your bottom lip. You know what I mean? I don't know. And then like what's the
bullhorn?
Like
or the bull ring?
The bull ring, or even just getting your septum pierced, period, where like sometimes you'll have the bar that goes across there. I don't know. I
don't like the bull ring. You see some NFL players with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or anybody. I just have seen those fellas with more than anybody else I've seen.
I just feel like it's a recipe for pain. Like that's gonna get caught on something at some point in your life, and it's gonna suck.
It's like the nose rings that I don't have anything against them, but it just seems like it'd be a booger catcher.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta take them out and clean them once in a while.
And then the lip one, well, how does that even work?
Like the little beauty mark one?
Well, yeah, but then there's
There-
where has the backing fit on that?
There's got to be a flat back.
It's got to be a flat back that with like a
that like pinches into it.
protruding backing that goes up.
Yeah.
So obviously,
To where you'd have to get used to it, I'm guessing.
but it just seems like uncomfortable. Sometimes I can't even handle the watch when it pinches my skin or
Right.
pulls a hair.
Drives you nuts.
You're like, fuck. But here, I don't know. Hey, to each their own.
To each their own.
But you really got to think about long term sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess if you're 60 years old and your earlobes are flapping and you've got a facial tattoo,
Right.
it comes down to who you are.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to occupation, I think you're setting yourself up for lower end jobs.
Yeah. Well, the beautiful part about society today now is, though, there are groups that will accept you.
Sure.
No matter what. I mean, 50
And
years
maybe
ago,
even-
you would have been ostracized 50 years ago, no matter what.
Well, I was going to say, and maybe even more so because you have that face tattoo, they'll accept you even more because they know you may have a difficult problem.
Yeah.
Or not problem, but you may have it more difficult than somebody else.
Let me ask this, and this is the last really kind of question I have on this is there any situations in which you would get a facial tattoo?
Any situations. I tell you what, I don't think on my face,
Yeah.
but if I was going for just straight up cool, something like the tribal things that kind of just like like maybe like the flame that just comes up on the side of the cheek.
Yeah?
Or like up on the neck.
That's coming out of your shirt?
Yeah.
To where it kind of...
I think that's cool, but I don't know. I'm at 45 at this point. I don't know if I'm going for cool anymore.
Right. It creates a little suspense, though.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're somebody that's like well groomed, well dressed, you know, but there's just a little bit of tribal sticking out of your collar.
Yeah, just out of your collar. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know if I'm going for cool anymore.
Yeah.
Now, here's an example. Ironically, I watched a couple Cavs games. They've just started back up.
Okay.
And you know, the NBA is full of tattoos.
Yeah.
And there's a fella on the Cavs. I guess when I say surprising is because they're shitty. That's why I'm watching but I've watched a couple Cavs games. And Jordan Clarkson, he had a couple tattoos in the last couple years. And now, I don't know if you noticed, but he's got a full neck.
Really?
Up to like the jaw.
Ooh.
And I think he may even have a couple here and there. And obviously, with the darker skin, you can tell they're there.
Yeah.
But definitely not as prominent as if a highly Caucasian male.
Somebody that's super white.
Yeah.
With a dark contrast color, it
Right.
becomes much easier to
But
see.
you can still
Sure.
see the dark, and I'm just like, man.
That's a lot.
Now, he's making good money in the NBA.
Sure.
At that point, I'd say, do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
You're making millions.
Right.
Because of your talent. Maybe therein lies the hinge of life.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there's only two situations that I think I would ever consider getting a tattoo on my face. First would be if by some incredible, terrible stroke of luck I ended up in prison, and I needed to do that to have that as an identifying mark based on the group that I'm in to keep me safe while I'm in prison. Yes, a tattoo on my face is much better than death by Ooga Booga. You know, like I don't need to be the shower victim. You know, to where.
you think a tattoo would help you?
I'm just saying, like, if that was the thing, like, if the group that I found that was my group for prison, and they were like, hey, man, you got to get a tattoo on your right cheek on your face that identifies that you're with the crew here, I'd be like, well, game on, get out the guitar string and the Indian ink and let's go. You know, I mean, comes all down to self-preservation at that point, because you can get tattoos removed these days. So that'd be my plan on that. And then the only other way that I would do it would be if somebody very close to me, especially if it was like one of my children, that had something, if they had a massive scar on their face that they had from a surgery or something like that, you know, that they were really insecure and stuff about, I would consider doing something like that would be similar to theirs. That way we had the same thing. There's a picture, you can look it up on Google. It's really easy to find. There was a dad that his son had open heart surgery and was afraid to go into the swimming pool because, you know, he's got a scar that runs, you know, the whole way down his sternum. So the dad went and got that exact same thing tattooed on him, you know, and made the kid feel better. And him and his dad went swimming, and it's a great story to where like something like
That's
that,
awesome.
like in support, like I would do something like that,
Sure.
you know. But other than that, I think I don't think I could do it.
The only other thing I would maybe do is, you know, been at the current employment for 25 years now.
Yeah.
I think after 30, I'll just get the barcode.
Yeah.
The employee barcode.
So you can
on
just
the
get
forehead.
scanned in on your way
Just,
to work?
you know what?
I don't know.
I've been here long enough. Just give me the fucking barcode.
No.
Not just a number.
I don't think I want to do that. That's a lot.
That
going
would
on.
be funny though. A barcode on the back of the neck.
Yeah. So speaking of tattoos, is there any other place like on your body that you think is stupid for people to get tattoos?
I wouldn't say stupid. I think the face and the head is. I'm okay. I'll just say the face, because I don't know if you get a head tattoo like on your cranium, I think that would hurt like a mother.
Yeah.
But let's just say you did it as a gag, as a joke.
Yeah.
You still grow your hair out if you're able to.
Yeah.
You still hide it. I guess it's all about concealing it. Not that you have to, but
Right.
I think at times you might want to.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
To me, like the hand tattoos, like when people will get like thug life across their fingers, you know, like those ones, I can't get behind that either.
Yeah, and then I mean I've always heard that the hand tattoos and especially the feet tattoos are harder to keep because your skin on your feet regenerates so much.
Yeah.
That I don't have a problem with somebody getting on their foot, but when I see
No,
it, I'm like,
whatever into.
when I see it, I'm like, yeah, that was a waste of money. It's gonna
Right.
fall off here in 5 years.
Yeah. And, well, and the first month when you have to really take care of it to make sure that your tattoo sets correctly, you wearing flip-flops, you know? I mean, you got to
Right.
strategically figure out what you're going to wear footwear-wise so that you don't tear it up,
Right.
you know?
So I don't, like I said, I don't think it's dumb. I just think it's silly.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I don't really the sleeves. I don't know. When I see somebody with a sleeve, it's probably almost the same reaction as, no, maybe not as, like let's say I see somebody with a face tattoo, it's like a 10 of shock.
Yeah.
The sleeve is probably more like a 7.
Yeah.
To where I'm like, not for me.
Right. Anything below the elbow for
Yeah.
me, you know, above the elbow.
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like that's an appropriate, good place. You can put on any kind of even a short sleeve dress shirt, and it comes out okay.
See, and I think that's how we grew up. When we grew up, tattoos were not real popular. If you had one, you kind of wanted to make sure you could conceal it.
They were popular. They just weren't mainstream.
Well, I guess maybe that's what it is. Popular versus mainstream versus maybe acceptable.
Yeah.
So if you can conceal one but still have one, hey, best of both worlds. That way, when you want to show it off, you can.
Right. That's how I view mine. You know, I go to a meeting. Nobody knows that I have 3 tattoos. You know, those are mine, but they don't have to be a point of conversation. You know,
And no one has any, preconceived notions of who you are,
right.
or what you might have been through,
Right.
or he doesn't like himself.
Right.
Let's feel bad for Jakey Poo.
Yeah. So speaking of the way people are treated based on face tattoos and stuff like that, one of the topics that we wanted to bring up was bullying.
Yeah.
You know, as how people are treated. What are your thoughts on bullying and what it is today and kind of where we're at with it?
Well, I've got 2 kids in middle school now, and bullying is talked about a lot.
Yes.
Now, I think there's a fine line there, though, between, picking on and actually bullying. I think it's a fine line. I mean, I think it's okay to get picked on a little bit.
Yeah.
But to, go overboard and it turns into bullying where the kid doesn't want to go to school anymore.
Right.
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I never experienced it as a child, even though it very easily could have been. I don't know.
Sure.
The setting that we grew up in, for 6 straight years, we were in a classroom with only our class.
Yeah.
That's how I went to school.
Sure.
It was the same 20 to 25 kids minus some, kids moving and coming and going.
Yep.
But it was the same 25 to 30 kids. We all knew each other since kindergarten. And I mean, maybe it's because we knew everybody so well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to the middle school where it's 7th through 8th grade, and that's where all the schools come together. And I guess that's probably where maybe it would happen more. It just never really happened to me. Or if it could also be my personality where I didn't bother me, or I just would never let it.
Sure.
I got a big mouth sometimes, as you all know.
Yeah.
But so, I'm not afraid to fire from the hip if I got a problem with you.
For sure.
So I think bullying, there's probably an underlying thing, though. Kid A that's bullying kid B might also be getting bullied by kid double A.
Right.
So you just don't know.
Right.
But it starts somewhere.
Absolutely. It could even start at home.
It might even start at home.
For sure.
It could even start from history of your life. Some kids have shitty starts.
Yeah. That's definitely a true story. I mean, we're all in the land of opportunity, but there's plenty of American kids that grow up disadvantaged, that they have to fight through.
But the biggest head scratcher to me is, and maybe my harp of the bullying thing is, if you're getting bullied and you don't like it, why are you doing it to the other kid?
Yeah. I don't disagree with
You
that.
know what I'm saying?
Because it is a vicious cycle. I agree that there is a fine line between bullying and picking. I mean, you have friends that you pick on from time to time.
All the time.
You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that you're bullying them. I mean, bullying to me is a continuous assault on somebody, whether it's taking their lunch money or, forcing them to do things that they wouldn't normally do, or telling them they can't be part of something or be someplace, on a consistent basis, or there's going to be repercussions for them not listening
Almost
to what you're
along the
telling you.
line,
That's bullying to me.
like hazing almost.
No, hazing is almost like a rite of passage ritual for things,
Yeah,
so
I
it's not
guess.
really the same thing. To me, it's not anyway. I mean, I guess maybe so. Maybe that's the actual definition of hazing, and just hazing has become part of what happens to pledges and stuff like that.
But see, I guess the difference is hazing would be more of a, hey, this is kind of a 1 or 2 or 3 and done.
Yeah.
Versus like your whole career.
Right.
I
think that there's 2 different ways that need to be distinguished, and that's the physical bullying and mentally bullying.
Yeah, that's what I have down on here. Mental health.
Yeah.
Because some of these kids just might not know how to treat people.
Right. But I think you and I have talked about it to where I'm sure that you've dealt with it. I know that I've dealt with it as a parent to where somebody was picking on our children, you know? And I think most parents have been in that situation at some point in time where somebody was picking on them, making that determination as a parent as to when it goes from kids being kids and people being picked on, you know, a little bit to straight up somebody is bullying them. I just think that they're two different things.
Oh,
you know?
For sure. And I hear some of the we've been to some of the school gatherings, and they talk about bullying, and you know, if you see this type of behavior, and as they're explaining, I'm like, when they first started, like, well, if you see this, and I'm like, but that's not bullying.
No.
You gotta get a little deeper. They have to be a little bit more malicious mentally and maybe even physically.
Yeah, I agree. And the ones that I don't like is it's where it's almost like they're instigating, like trying to get somebody to bully them. Like when you, if as a young kid, your parents allow you get some jacked up crazy haircut,
Right.
and you get picked on for having jacked up crazy hair. You know, you come to school with a purple mohawk in 6th grade, you know, and people start teasing you about your Barney mohawk. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, if you put yourself in a situation to be picked on and make yourself a target, I mean, even as adults, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never said anything about somebody like that. I mean, even if it's just a comment to a friend of yours, like, did you see X, Y, and Z's hair? Like, what the hell were they thinking? You know,
It might be also the time period. I know it's you just using that as an example, but I'm telling you what, back in the 80s, if somebody came to the school with a purple mohawk, we would have been like, holy shit, that was cool.
Right.
You know?
Right. But now today, if somebody says something to them about it, then they're being bullied.
Well, and they also, I think a lot of we'll just say 50% because I don't know the percentages.
Sure.
But, you know, with the lesbian and gay communities being much more open, there's going to be bullying about that.
Yeah.
You know, oh, we know those two are lesbians. Like my daughter, matter of fact, she told me the first football game, we're just about rounding out high school football season here. The first football game she went to this year was the home opener, and my daughter has a friend that she is a lesbian.
Okay.
Or at least at this point in her life she is.
Sure.
Or at least, what do they say? That's how she defines herself?
That's how she identifies.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So she's there with her girlfriend.
Sure.
And they're sitting there, and the one girl's got her arm around Brianna's friend, and no big deal. They're not hurting one person. They're actually watching the game.
Yeah.
So these two boys, they see this, and they want to mock them, and they sit down beside them. They put their arms around each other, and of course the girls, they take offense. But is that bullying? I don't know. Probably not.
I don't think that. I mean, that it's classless. I mean, like that's
right.
That's a shitty thing to do. But I don't think that that's bullying at that point. If they had gone down there and sat behind them and been like, you know, you guys are stupid dykes. What the hell are you doing here? Get out of here. This isn't a butch football game. You know, and then they keep it going. You know, I don't think one comment one time ever constitutes bullying.
No, I don't either.
I think it's definitely an ongoing thing.
Unless it's maybe to the lines of, now this is maybe where it crosses the lines. If they start suggesting suicide and things like that, then I think that escalates rather quickly.
Right. That's definitely a different circumstance, so I agree. The other part of bullying that I think that happens more now, and probably more than any of us as parents realize, is the amount of cyberbullying that goes on. To where, and I've mentioned it before, we have very good relationships with our children, to where we keep a pretty good idea of what's going on all the time, you know, and we hear the stories of, you know, this person that posted a picture and these 6 people, you know, I don't want to keep saying girls, but I mean, girls are like pack animals in junior high and high school, you know, I mean, they will pick one person out, and if they did something, woo, good save.
Nearly killed.
Right. And they will gang up on them together, you know?
Right.
To where, to me,
Pack animals.
I mean, but it is. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, next thing you know, there's 6, 7, 8 comments underneath stuff, you know, and then sometimes they have a hard time linking it back to exactly who they are. We can say that we know that it's, you know, these particular people, but they've all got Finstas, you know, they're fake Instagrams, to where it's not under their real name, and they're all coming at them. You know what I mean?
Troller accounts.
Right. So, you know, that's where one of those things where I'm glad that at least on the Instagrams of the world that they've made it to where, like, you can limit comments, or you can eliminate comments altogether from things that you post and stuff like that to try to get rid of some of that.
Well, yeah, the cyber part of it is tough.
Yeah.
Because like we try to be as responsible with our 13-year-old as we can.
Yeah.
As far as what she has on her phone and whatnot. She's going to be 14 here in a few days.
Yeah.
And, before you know it, she'll be driving, and God forbid, it's crazy how fast they grew up.
It's amazing.
But, my wife will try to, on Snapchat, she'll try to friend as many friends as my daughter has, because she wants to see what the hell's going on.
That's not uncommon.
And every once in a while, she'll grab her phone, and she'll be like, I want to see what's going on. And just the other day, we said, you got to unfriend this girl, because these 13-year-olds are talking about very, very adult sexual behavior, and it gives you the heebie-jeebies. I mean, at 13.
Yeah.
I know that things are a little bit more accelerated because of the, but it's too early.
That's your daughter. You don't want her exposed to that.
I don't even, knowing it and hearing it is one thing, but thinking that that's acceptable is another.
Sure. One of the things that I think is true too, and again, not trying to give too much advice here, but one of the things that I think is important is as kids develop their friend groups, as a friend group, you shouldn't attack somebody, but if somebody attacks somebody in your friend group, it should be, you picked on one of us, you're picking on all of us.
Amen.
And when people know that, they're a lot less apt to try to start pushing those buttons. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to come after somebody if they know that they've got 5 or 6 close friends, and they're going to deal with all of them coming after them at one point in time. I think relationships are more important from that aspect now than they've probably ever been.
That's what I try to teach my son, because he's easily pushed around if he lets you.
Yeah.
He's a very smart kid, but he just doesn't have a lot of backbone when it comes to standing up for himself.
Yeah.
And I tell him repeatedly, I'm like, listen, dude, it only takes once. It only takes once for you just to say, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Or in whatever terms you want to say in a middle school without getting a day off.
Right.
Keep your mouth shut, or I'm going to shut it for you. All you have to do is say that once, and it's probably going to work.
Right. But if push comes to shove, and I've always told my children this, if it's a situation where they're being severely picked on and they stand up for themselves, if they take a swing and they get time off for it, I'm not going to be upset, because at the end of the day, I think it's important, at least for me and my outlook on life. I don't want my kids to go out starting fights. I don't want that at all. But if you're being picked on,
Mr. Miyagi style,
you defend yourself.
Defend yourself.
Right, because even if you lose the fight, the odds of that person keep coming back for more are very, very low. And the number of other people that are going to come after you, if you prove that you're going to defend yourself, way low. Sometimes it's a truth is violence isn't always the answer, but the idea that violence could occur is a huge deterrent for 99% of the population. Most of the people in this world today do not want anything to do with a physical confrontation.
There's been people that we've all known that you're like, God, you mess with that guy, he's going to want to fight you.
Right.
So you don't, usually.
Right. Or if you go messing with that girl, her older brother is going to pound the shit out of you.
Right.
To where I think that if bullying is happening, we don't advocate for it in any sense of the word.
No.
I just think that what has categorized now as bullying, as soon as anybody says anything to anybody, they're being bullied. And especially if, like your daughter's friend that is a lesbian, anything said to her about that is instantly bullying.
For sure.
It instantly falls underneath that umbrella.
I think also bullying, unfortunately, it has to be over a length of time. Like I did say, though, if you start talking about, hey, you should go kill yourself. That's pretty.
It's cut and dry.
That's accelerated pretty fastly. But for most standard picking on,
right.
if they're just constant picking, it's going to take a couple of weeks before you have to actually can classify that as bullying.
Right. But and anything that's also perceived as a threat, and that's where I have an issue with it sometimes, to where, take your son. If somebody is pushing your son around and your son says, look, you do it again, I'm going to whoop your ass. That kid can turn your son in for bullying because he threatened physical violence against him. And that's where I think some of it's just bullshit.
Right.
We've gotten too carried away with it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with the bullying. I thought it was something we hadn't really discussed.
It is still a real thing, though.
Yeah.
We're not trying to water it down.
And it should not be tolerated. And if you really are being bullied, make sure that you confide in your friends. Talk to your parents. As parents, make sure that you stay in good context with what's going on, especially in their friend groups.
Also kids. There's probably not too many listening to us, but parents of kids, there are counselors. There are counselors that are ready to talk to kids
Right.
if they have problems and need, because not mom and dad can't solve everything.
No.
And sometimes talking to that third party can really help.
Yep, I agree completely.
So,
what do you got up next for us, buddy?
this is something that just pisses me off.
Okay.
Mike DeWine.
Yeah.
What is he, the governor?
He is the governor of the great state of Ohio.
Glad I got that fucking right. Makes me look less stupid. But Mike DeWine, the governor of the great
IO.
This guy is a douchebag. On the one level of capital punishment, he has deemed that the cocktail, the 3-drug cocktail for lethal injection for Ohio is inhumane. I just have a real problem with that.
Did this come out like recently?
This has been a while.
Okay.
But he finally put a kibosh on all executions. I don't know what date. It's been a couple months.
Oh, really?
Actually, I think it started this year.
Everything in Ohio is on hold right now?
Pretty sure.
Wow.
And if you look at the death warrant list, where these guys are waiting to be executed, most of the other states are going as planned, but then there's Ohio, reprieve, and it's like, come on, dude. Before you give this motherfucker a reprieve, let's look and see what he did first.
Yeah.
Did he decapitate 2 people, slay a family of 4? Then he deserves the 3 fucking inhumane cocktail.
Yeah.
If that's how you deem it.
Right.
Now, if it was a guy that, something happened and maybe it could have just been avoided and people ended up dying, but probably not, though. Usually it's hard, cold murders.
Yeah. If you get death row, you
deserve it.
You earned it 99 times out of 100.
So, and as we've stated on both of our shows repeatedly, it's, in my opinion, and I know Jake agrees with me, that the punishment should fit the crime.
Sure.
And I'm sorry, if going out means you're choking on fluids in your lungs and then your heart stops and it's painful, you kind of earn that.
Right. Over a couple minute period of time.
Yeah, we're
And
talking
then
like
it's
15 to 20, maybe even half an hour.
Worst case scenario.
We're hoping it's a half an hour.
Right.
But regardless, the turmoil and pain they put their victims through, most likely, like the girls behind Rolling Acres.
Yeah.
Who is it? Cooey?
Yeah, Richard Cooey.
Richard Cooey. You can listen to this show on thegallowspodcast.com.
Yeah.
Richard Cooey and his boy tortured these 2 girls for about 3 hours, raping and beating them.
Yep.
Guess what? People like that deserve inhumane executions.
Right. And to me, not even just that. If you deem that the cocktail that you are currently using isn't right and that you need to make it better, okay, put a hold on all of that, but then bring something else back. I mean, we talked about South Carolina's electric chair and how amazing this thing is.
Yes.
Within a total of 20 seconds, it's
Not
all over.
even.
I mean,
it's literally like 10 seconds, but they do it an extra one just to make sure.
right. They do the double tap. It's the double tap of electricity, just to make sure. I mean, you can't keep costing your taxpayers money because we're worried about the well-being of the people that are on death row. That doesn't make any sense to me. That we're just going to keep wasting state dollars that could be put towards education and police forces and things like that to keep people alive just because you're afraid that the 3 juice cocktail is going to be inhumane.
See, I think it's bullshit. And on this show, we have no bullshit. Or very little to that. I just think there's something else going on here that we just don't know about.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I mean, is he getting kickbacks for the new creation of this new drug? I mean, is he involved with it? Does he have a company that? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the backlash is coming from that's pushing him to do this. I mean, I know that there are definitely groups out there that are
believe in it.
that are super anti death penalty. And they will do anything they can to fight against it, and they'll pick it outside.
I bet you those motherfuckers. I bet you somebody fucking does it to their family.
Yeah.
I bet you they flip flop a little bit.
Oh, I agree. But I feel
Let's say you're anti you're 100% anti-death penalty, and somebody comes through and acts as your wife or one of your daughters, you might just change your mind.
I think a lot of people would. I mean, there are people that won't for religious reasons and other things like that.
And, those people are holier than holy, and God bless them.
Right.
But
I think that most right. I feel like most people would definitely turn back, and I wonder. I don't wish anything negative on our governor or his family or anything like that, but I think if he ever had to deal with a situation like the ones that we talk about on the gallows, what these families go through over a 10, 15, 20, 30 year plus period of time, trying to get to the end where this person is no longer living and breathing the same air we are, and they can just move on with their lives as much as possible. I don't think that worrying about how the process goes, I mean, if it's not effective, if you're pushing it and it's not finishing the job,
right,
then you need to rethink the way that you're doing
I
things.
would be like, yeah, you need to figure that shit out.
Right, we need something a little bit stronger, But I mean, arsenic and stuff like that, has been proven for years that it works.
And some of that stuff, like the ricin,
yeah,
people just, there's some cases that they get kind of violently ill, but
right.
There are other drugs that they go out seemingly pretty light.
Yeah, you read some of these and it's just like.
Whatever happened to the plastic bag over the head?
Right. That's a lot. A
couple of
suffocation. That doesn't always go real quick.
Strangulation.
Your body still has to process.
Belt around the neck.
Right. We talked about that though too. That a lot of times you'll cut off the carotid artery to where somebody will pass out from a lack of oxygen to the brain.
Right, true.
Before you actually shut down the lungs and the heart.
Bring out the gallows.
Right. Oh, 100% in favor of it. You get the book of Frank Luchter on how to build it, put a gallows together, and bam, you've got a highly operational and highly functional machine.
Or if you just want the highly repetitive system, you use the guillotine. Basket of heads, baby.
I don't know if we're ever going to get back to that point, just because it's a pretty gruesome finish. You know what I mean?
I was watching the movie. I told you I was watching the movie about Henry V.
Yeah.
And he had a couple guys that he felt were treasonous. And buddy, the next day he had them out there, their heads on the chopping block,
just like that, huh?
On a stump, kapow!
Woo.
God, and he was out there front and center.
That's a lot going on.
His
right?
arms crossed, and watching.
I just can't help but feel sometimes, and I don't want to go off on a complete tangent in the other direction, but to me, this is almost a sign of the times of how easy and cushy things are in America these days.
Amen.
When we have time for our legislative bodies to spend this much time, effort, and money to battle these things are going pretty fucking great.
Something I forgot to say, because I had it wrote down here. Don't we have better things to do?
Yeah.
Than worry about how inhumane our executions are.
Right.
Wake up call, Mike DeWine. Killing somebody is not glamorous.
It's not supposed to be fun.
It's not supposed to be easy, fun, or good.
No.
It's called justice, and
we just need to get back to it. We need to quit listening to all this bullshit of why we shouldn't do this and, because it's inhumane and it's cruel and unusual. Fuck all that. Just get it done.
There's probably some young men out there on the border of committing a serious crime, and they're like, well, I get the easy sleepy potion if I do a real good job here.
Right.
And
in 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. So to have the lead public official for our state being the one that's leading this, I just have a severe problem with it. It's wasting our money.
He's wasting everybody's money. And it's just flat out ridiculous.
Right. Cyanide. Whatever. Cyanide for years. Remember growing up, the cyanide capsule and boom, you're done.
Shoot him.
Right.
Shoot him in the fucking forehead. You want to talk about the most humane way to kill somebody?
Yeah.
Pop him in the forehead.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's go back to medieval times. Let's mix up some hemlock. Hemlock will stop your heart. It's a drink that you drink and it slowly just all your muscles stop and you're done.
Firing squad, going back to guns.
Right.
You could do it quick, and you know what? Getting a bullet to the brain is going to kill you quick.
Yeah. So
and humane.
So let's get this figured out, Mr. DeWine. If we need a different cocktail, get the smartest people in the room together. There's got to be some physicists and stuff out there. They can tell you. Get some doctors, some physicists. This is what'll work. This is what the effect is. This is how long it takes. Get it figured out and be done with it. Just
redonkulous.
Just move on to where we
Yeah.
can get back to finishing off the people that need to be finished off.
Speaking of the gallows, I don't have a gallows update. I know Ruben Gutierrez was still next online. Oh my God! Might have been 2 days ago.
It was.
Did he go?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. It was actually the day before.
My bad,
3 days
everybody.
ago.
The Hateful Eight. I dropped the ball.
Yeah.
So
It was
I
on
would.
the 30th.
It was supposed to be the 30th.
I think that it happened.
I
I'm
did not-
99% sure that it happened.
I did not look.
We'll have to double check on that. We'll report back on it
Can
next
you
time.
check real quick?
Let me see.
Just take this momentary, and I'll talk to you guys about things that happen on a daily basis. No, I don't have anything.
The last execution in the United States says that Russell Buckley was the last one. That was 29 days ago.
Oh, you know what? Well, the thing about Ruben Gutierrez is there was statements out there saying, why doesn't Texas want to kill this guy? What does he have on the state of Texas? So I don't know. Maybe they reprieved him again.
Yep, they did. Wednesday they gave him a stay based on the scheduled execution to determine whether it was filed correctly. It was a clerical possible error
Listen.
that set this back.
This is embarrassing, Texas. You guys are like the New York Yankees of executioners. I mean, what is going on?
Right. And South Dakota actually was supposed to have one that went down actually on Halloween, which there's kind of a badassness to that. I think if it would
Did it go down?
They gave him a 1 week stay based on that. What
does that do?
Within the next 48 hours, they're going to have the exact day next week that it's going to happen.
What is the? We're gonna wait another week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't have any in stock this week. We're gonna wait another week. Fuck off, kill him.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. You get to that point where we're splitting hairs here. Just get it over with. Done. Gone.
Wow. So, old Ruben, the screwdriver killer, Gutierrez is still alive.
Yep. Still kicking.
Fuck.
Fucking Ruben. What else we got?
Actually, it's on you. You had a couple extras in there. What do you got?
All right, well, this is one, and it's a story that you've heard before, probably from me, but it's getting taken to the next level, so I felt like we had to revisit it. I love Christmas. I
too.
have Christmas traditions just like everybody else does. You know, there's certain things that we do on Christmas. You know, Christmas morning with the girls. The night before, I watch It's a Wonderful Life with my mom every year. We have Christmas Eve over at her parents. You know, I mean, we have our Christmas Eve rituals.
Football.
Football, you know, whatever's going on in the world of sports. You know, there's always NBA on all day on Christmas. They try to set the marquee matchups, you know, for Christmas Day. You know, got to have LeBron on for the national audience, you know, every year. This year has been the worst year that I've ever seen for having so much Christmas stuff out before Halloween, to the point where, like, it's driving me nuts. It's like, first, I remember as a kid, you know, Black Friday was the kickoff, you know, to the entire month of Christmas. Well, then we start moving further and further into November, you know, where we have pre-Black Friday sales and all that kind of stuff. Now we're into full-blown Christmas in stores in October. I mean, I walked into a local department store. I won't call it out by name, but into a local department store the second week of October, and they were restructuring their store, and within 2 days, they had an entire Christmas section up. It's like, well, why? I mean, why does this have to consume? It's going to become a third of our year before it's all said and done.
Right.
I mean, we're not even into actual winter time, you know? I mean, we're in early fall when this is still happening. I mean, this is just getting ridiculous. I mean, and then we have Christmas in July, which is great. I'm glad that people love their Christmas in July and all that stuff, but it's getting to the point where July is going to become the beginning of Christmas season. Just half the year is going to be Christmas, and it's all money driven. Every single bit of it is nothing but money driven. It's not about peace on earth, goodwill to men, anything religious or anything like that. It is all a money grab. If you can get the Christmas stuff out in your stores first, the people that absolutely love it are going to go fucking apeshit and start buying it instantaneously. Because if they don't buy it now, it might not be here in a month, you know, and you might not get it restocked. So I got to buy my Christmas stuff now. Fuck that. I'm fucking tired of it.
Yeah, I don't like going too early either. I like the tradition of it all. I like when it's all cozy around, you know, we'll just say starting around the 20th. It just, you know, it's a really good time of year. I'm with you. You get the hot cocoa.
Yeah.
You've got your, the eggnogs.
Right.
all that fun stuff. It's just good. The snow, hopefully,
Yeah.
here in Ohio.
But we love those things. I mean, like, if you ever get a chance to go up to Stan Hewitt Hall, right? I think it's just a couple bucks to get in, Then you can get hot chocolate. They actually serve a couple nice craft beers. You can get a mixed drink. They've got this amazing display of lights. You can tour the mansion and see everything that's going on in there. They've got a really nice thing that they do in the greenhouse there. We love going places like that during the Christmas season. And it's cold out. Like you said, you have your hot chocolate. They have a fire going that people stand around and congregate and have a good time. I don't want that before Halloween. I don't want to see it.
No, and people now, including my wife, including your wife, are decorating, like literally, they're starting, like I know my wife did not, but she talked about, well, tomorrow's the day after Halloween. I want you to, we might get the stuff down.
In my household, it's always basically the first Saturday in November. Every single year, my wife's birthday is in early November. The house always starts getting decorated.
There's nothing wrong with that. But it is early.
She loves to tease me that I hate Christmas. I don't hate Christmas. It's a little bit early. If I'm still mowing and stuff like that, I don't know that it should be all Christmased out, but she really enjoys it. So great. If she wants her home to feel nice and festive all of the time for a couple months, because she's also the one that, like, as soon as Christmas is over, it's time to put Christmas away and get started on the next year.
Yeah.
I'm completely good with that. I'm probably more annoyed, by people that leave their Christmas lights up until like April. And like they're still on timers and they're still going off. It's like, all right, we're moving on here, Yeah. I got resolutions to fuck up.
That's the town I live in. My kids go to school in Norton, but I have a Barberton address, and that's what we call it, the Barberton Christmas.
Yeah.
The Christmas just keeps giving because they leave their lights up all fucking year.
Right, all the time.
Hate it.
It's ridiculous. A couple other things that drive me crazy these days about Christmas is I remember as a kid, like, we would always make a big Christmas list, You'd go through like the Pennies or the Sears book, the Wish book, and you'd go page for page. And
that's right.
Can you tell Santa Claus that I really want, these G.I. Joes that are on page 47, and stuff like that. And it was always just fun to do that kind of stuff. And I feel like now it's almost like putting an order in. It's like, well, this is my Amazon order for Christmas, to where like sometimes the surprise is gone. I mean, and even if you do if you're part of a gift exchange, there's so many rules and stuff that go around it. You can't spend over this number of dollars, and most of the time now they want it to be a gift card, but you can't make it a gift card to certain places or people will be offended and not just anybody can use it. Just stop already. If I'm going to give a gift, I want to give it because I love somebody and care about somebody, not because I'm forced into a box of what I need to give somebody.
That's why white elephants are the best.
Right. Pick something from home, wrap it up, take it, give it away.
Something funny, something genuine, something unique, or something just awful.
Yeah. Here's an extra brick I had in my garage. Maybe you can use that as a doorstop. Merry fucking Christmas. Yeah. Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to start doing a white elephant.
They're hits, man.
Yeah.
They're funny too.
Yeah. I will tell you one of the cool things though that my mother-in-law, she's fantastic. She gets into Christmas huge. She makes Christmas wonderful for the entire family. Her house is always a very warm, Christmassy feeling place. They host Christmas afternoon dinner pretty much every year, and she's got this little thing where she'll go out and if there's 30 people that are coming, she'll make sure that she's got like 35 gifts so that she doesn't miss anybody.
That's awesome.
And they're all like small things, but then it's a fun little game. Everybody gets one. You draw a number, and then when you open yours, you can keep it or trade.
So it's like the white elephant rules.
Yeah, it is. And it's super fun, to where, we're down for pitching in on it, but it's something that you can do that's simple and fun without having to go out and buy something for everybody, because then you get trapped in that at Christmas time where you have the people that bought for you that you didn't buy for, and then you have the guilt that goes with that because it's such a commercialized thing.
Yeah. People
have a hard time just accepting a gift without giving somebody something, and a lot of times people feel offended if they get you something and you don't get that something in return.
Well, there is a huge divide between giving a gift and expecting a gift.
Yeah.
And like you said, getting butthurt if you didn't get one in return.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of that ruins it a little bit.
Right.
For years, I would buy a certain family member, a cousin, I would buy a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Must have went on for a decade.
Yeah.
I never got reciprocated.
Right.
It was always something fun though. It was like it was a football.
Yeah.
I'd buy my cousin a football every year.
That's fun.
But we were young, but I would just go to Kmart and buy a football. And then he and I would end up in the driveway in a freezing cold throwing it around for a little bit.
Yeah, that's fun.
Right.
You'll remember those things.
I do, but it's not till you're older till you're like, God, the guy never got off his wallet once.
Right. Yeah. That's all right.
But for me, it was more fun because every time he's halfway into it and he's like, he forgot. Then he's like, oh, it's a fucking football. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
So it is fun, and it was more fun for me. But it didn't, like I said, as you get older, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
That was pretty one-sided.
Right. I feel like with it starting so early, it sucks some of the joy out of it. You know, just because it's there for so long, it's like you get numb to it. It's like listening to politics sometimes. It's just when it's on and on and on and on. At some point, like you've gone too far and it needs to be dialed back just a little bit.
I think the other thing for a parent, like especially in my situation, my kids are starting to turn that corner.
Yeah.
As far as young adults, and there is a lot of magic when they're little.
Yeah.
There's so much. They just the faces and the surprise. It's special.
And the cookies and the carrots.
Yeah,
and-
it's all so special. And now they're at the age where they're turning the corner, and it's like all you want to do is just recreate that.
Right.
But it's impossible.
It is impossible.
It is absolutely impossible to recreate that. And I think that's where some people get drawn back and be like, Christmas just isn't the same anymore.
Yep.
And even the kids will say that because it's like, it's not the same for them, and they know that.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I think when I guess when you get at the point of life which maybe another 10 to 15 years we'll start becoming grandparents and stuff like that, where you'll be like, hey, this is fun again.
Yeah.
So it's a circle of life, but I think that's where people start to get burnt out. It's not really that they're burnt out. There's just no more, they don't see the magic anymore.
Right. You know, take the magic out of Christmas.
Like with your brother, he's got some little ones.
Yeah.
So that's got to be fun.
Oh, absolute blast.
Yeah.
You know, looking forward to seeing him open stuff. You know, and I will say this, a little shout out to my wife. Again, she loves Christmas more than anybody that I've ever met, and I think it's great. She loves the holiday spirit and everything that goes with it, and she loves being out, even if she's not looking for anything. Like, she loves Black Friday shopping just to be out in the madness. Like, she's talked about getting a job in retail just to work for Christmas, like part-time.
See, and that's
she loves the
crazy
madness.
because most people are like my wife,
Right.
for instance, she throughout the year, she'd be like, well, maybe I'll, she'll stop mid-sentence, like, no, I won't go get a job now because
Right.
it's like 4 weeks till Black Friday.
Right.
That's stupid.
But like, she's incredibly sweet. Like, she's heard me complain about this pretty much since we got together. This has been something I've complained about since I was young, because I love Thanksgiving so much that I hate that it gets passed over to where this year, for the first time, she's going to do a Thanksgiving tree. So I'm excited for that, to where I don't know if it'll keep the Thanksgiving ornaments on it after Thanksgiving's over or she'll replace them out, but I'm excited for that.
So do you hate the crowds then? Like when it's crowded and you got to go get like a 1 or 2 more gifts?
I don't do that. I don't do that.
So you hate it.
I
Are you telling me you refuse?
one of the great things, again, my wife is fantastic. I love her.
Okay,
to
but
death,
I'm saying if you had to.
If I had to go do it, I'm going to find the best time to go do it where I feel like I'm going to be able to get through this the fastest. If I have to go to a jewelry store, I'm going to find out when it opens. I'm going to be one of the first people there to get in, get what I need, and get out. It's not going to be on Black Friday.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
see, this is where I can relate with your wife because for years I would go out the last week and before because I knew it was going to be packed. And there's something about it. But you can't be in a hurry and you can't be Mr. Krabby Pants, frustrated in a hurry,
Right.
because you will hate it. But just going out and seeing everybody and the music it's like kind of I was talking about the magic. You got to kind of go find your own magic sometimes.
Right.
And for me that was always kind of fun. I think the older I get though, now I probably would hate it more
Absolutely.
because I'm like, Jesus Christ, whatever. But no, but there for a long time I was like, I would do it on purpose.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind going on, like, we've done it several years. We go on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night, something like that, but it's like, I can't stand right up to Christmas being a Saturday or Sunday out shopping in the madness. It's like I could be home watching perfectly good quality football that's leading up to the playoffs or bowl games. Like, this sucks, So
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Unless you got anything else.
no, that's about it for Christmas. I'm just saying, don't do Christmas too early,
Okay.
Let's keep it special.
Well, we're gonna wind it down here.
Okay.
Here we go. So, we need to do the steak show.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that the next show? Or, because the next show will be right before, close to before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Is that a bad time?
I don't think so. Let's get our red
Or
meat
do you
in
want to
before
wait
our-
till the week of December, the early December.
Let's do it. Let's do it in December. Let's make it the Christmas steak.
You heard it here, which I think would be perfect.
Yeah.
Like we got the Great Pumpkin, the Christmas steak.
Hey, you want to get me a giant, well-aged New York strip for Christmas? I'm here for you all day. So good idea. Let's make that the Christmas
You'd
show.
rather have that frozen though, right? Because you want to cook it your way.
Yeah, well, yeah, my way. Hey, thanks a lot for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your week. Don't get too far into the Christmas spirit yet.
It's also, be careful about getting those face tattoos. Stop bullying if you can. If you know somebody that's being bullied or is a bully, tell them to stop it and get those that need help and get help. And Mike DeWine, get off your friggin' pansy-ass purse.
Amen. Quit sitting on your brains.
That's right. Pip, pip.
Cheerio.